Hey, good morning, everybody. Let me remind you that trading isn't risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Ni hao ma. Oh, wait, it's supposed to be over here. There we go. Hey, my name is Wayne McDonell. I am the Chief FX Market Strategist for TradersWay.com. Thank you very much for being a client. Also, thank you for meeting me here every single day at Forex.Today, 7:30 a.m. for a daily Forex trading strategy session. And I'd like to thank you for posting your trade plans on Forex.Today before coming to our event, so that we can perhaps discuss them. First Friday of the month, I host Trade Non-Farm Payrolls live over at FX Street, which is their biggest webinar. And I've been doing that for 12 years. Been trading currencies for 15 years or something like that. Cool, huh? It's nice to have you here. Feel free to ask questions. In fact, they are encouraged. Oh, I didn't share my screen yet. Share your screen, ya. Un momento, por favor. Muy bien. Yeah, Joe, what I do, you can see the TV going on in the background. I don't have sound. I don't turn sound on. So I don't listen to them. Yeah. See, there's one talking head, there's the other talking head. Yeah, I don't listen to them. Can't really put the look. Anyways, yeah, I don't listen to them. I watch them. So I just kind of look for headlines and stuff. Sarah, no way, absolutely not. There's, okay. All right, you convinced me. Sure. We'll start with oil today. Crude oil, like maple syrup. Okay, still hasn't broke my line in the sand. And once again, I'll remind you, I drew this orange line at 47 like months ago, before I went to Harvard. So a couple of months ago. I'm not even quite sure why. It was probably a pivot point or something at one time, but it's still in play today. And we touched it 3 times this week, and it's held every time. Also have a gray zone just above us, which is the same thing. One of my ideas with this is that 40 is too low, 50 is too high. So the closer we get to 50, the less likely it'll go up. Closer it goes to 40, the less likely it'll go down. Okay? If you look at oscillators and stuff in the normal market conditions, you'd be trying to kick off this 21. Okay, so if you're bullish, there's still some hope, but you probably should have traded down here on this roll reversal from, I guess it was yesterday. You can see it's old analysis. I mean, we already did this. So what do you do now? I don't know what you do now if you didn't do this. I don't know what you do. You can see that it popped up, hit the line, and stopped. So at the very least, we're in consolidation, right? Which is not good, but if you're in at support, then maybe you get through resistance. You know? But, well, by the way, I got to take off early today, so don't let me forget. Let me know when it's like 8:20. If you could. Sorry about that. Thank you, Michael. So anyways, it's just kind of tiptoeing its way up. Remember, Monday of last week, we had this buy zone. Wednesday or Tuesday of I guess it was more like Wednesday. Wednesday of last week, we had the double bottom. Thursday of last week, we had the higher high. Friday, we had the higher low. Monday, we had the higher high. Tuesday, we had the higher low. I mean, it's like what you see here today isn't actually an entry on the upside. I wouldn't call that bullish. I mean, yesterday was bullish. Today is slight continuation of bullishness, slight opportunities, maybe setting up for bears. Okay, but you see this left, how you sort of had a doji, spinning top, spinning top. I think that kind of needs to form before you start getting serious about selling. And this is no place to buy, so, you know, that's why I'm like, there's no real buy, there's no real sell. At the moment, as they say in Paris, maybe later. Daily? Yeah, but once again, you're supposed to be riding the 5. You're a country mile away from the 5. So again, if you're using the daily, yesterday was the buy, not today. All right, like look down in here. This was a buy, not this. You know, sell today. Well, like I just said, Sarah, maybe, but at least on this time frame, that has not set up yet. So you could say, well, you want to sell between this pivot and this zone here. All right, so go into a smaller time frame and wait for your opportunity. Okay. Are you going to trade it as it rolls over here? Are you going to wait for a break lower of this low? Or are you going to wait for a break of the moving averages? Or, I mean, you need to start doing analysis, right? Are you going to wait for a break here, for example? Right? See, if you don't have technical analysis on your side, then you're just a degenerate gambler. So what kind of analysis are you looking for? Are you looking for this? Cool. If you sell into this 21 on a 15-minute chart, then you just don't know what you're doing. It's just gone. Now, if you sell up here, you're playing the pivot, anticipating the break of the 21. That's pretty high risk. Okay? So you need some level of technical confirmation, like a lower low, to set up a lower high. Okay? You can't see? Oh, was this in your way? No, this isn't in your way. Oh, that thing was in your way. I thought that was invisible to you guys. All right, so let's do it again. I could probably just turn it back on. Okay. I don't want to use daily pivots. See, what you don't want to do is go out and find evidence to prove your idea. You want the evidence to set you up with your idea. So if I don't see it on the weekly, I don't give two hoots what the daily tells me. Now, if I have it on if I have a proper weekly setup, then I could drop into a smaller time frame, throw down some dailies, and say, "Aha! Look at that daily." But if I don't see it on the weekly, it doesn't exist on the daily. Okay. Right? So, for example, imagine you're a market mover and you trade giant size oil trades. You move the market when you trade. You probably are not using daily pivots that much. Is 46.85? Yeah. Yeah, sure. Okay. But you wouldn't just throw down a blind trade, would you? I mean, the fact that it's at this price doesn't make it a sell. The fact that you get price to head up there and then you start getting lower lows and lower highs is the opportunity. Now, you can sell it as high up here as possible. I'm okay with that. Just remember, you know, without the confirmation, it's a different level of risk. The upside of taking that risk is maybe your stop's not that, you know, either way, your stop should be placed, let's say, where this, let's say whether you sell it here or here or here. Either way, your stop's probably here. Yeah, and it's Wednesday, right? So, like, why would you be so crazy with oil on a Wednesday? But nonetheless, if you think it's going to roll over at this level here, which I don't disagree with. Now, my level's up here, as you can already see. And I did this yesterday or the day before. So we're pretty close, so I'm not disagreeing with you. But on a smaller time frame now, like a 15-minute chart, shouldn't you be waiting for a technical setup that concurs? Right? Today is stock and will be downside. All right. Yeah, if you already know what the news is going to be, then great. Problem is, I don't know. Yeah. So, you know, I'm just saying, look, it's a trade plan. I'm totally cool with it. Okay, you're doing everything right. Okay? You're doing everything right. I don't disagree with you. This is a good area to sell. This is a better area to sell. I'm only suggesting that you have some form of evidence first, right? Okay? And the best would look like double top or lower high after a break. Okay? Okay? So everything's fine. Okay? And I guess just one thought. We have a clearly defined bottom. Definitely made a higher high. Definitely made a higher low. Definitely made a higher high. Definitely made a higher low. You know, I'd be cautious to assume that it's going to head down. Now, again, I don't disagree with you, and I think we're getting closer and closer and closer to it rolling over. But I think this is still most likely. Because you can see this wasn't just straight up rocket ship. This wasn't straight up rocket ship. There was a lot of up and down and up and down. It played like a range before the breakout, didn't it? And right? And it played like a range here before the breakout. And now we're playing like a range, but isn't it still most likely for it to break out to the upside before it rolls over? So that's why I'm just saying, look, you can take the shot, just make sure it's a good technical entry. Okay? So here's our Euro USD. And yesterday I sold it just below the R2. Oh no, that's R2D2. Sorry, wrong R2. And so far so good. Spiked a little higher than I would have liked. But okay, now we're back into the pivot zone. Take a little hot sauce off the top. Okay. Weekly R2, but the monthly is even better. We'll see what happens. Still lots of potential for up before down. Any thoughts? This is the no way Jose zone down here. I'd be a lot less aggressive because the maximum aggressive opportunity left is taking it down here. So maybe there's 100 pips left. But you could have just taken the whole week off on this and gone fishing. Yeah, we have the Euro stuff. Yep. That's tomorrow, though, isn't it? I'm a little distracted these days. I believe that's tomorrow, not today. Yeah. A lot of opportunity for people to get antsy. So anyways, you know, kitty cat, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, know when to walk away. You know, we're sort of, you'll play the hands if they're good, but the longer you sit at the table, the more they're kind of slowly drawing you down. If you were short stacked, for example, it's probably best to just walk, take your money. But we're moving on down. One more hurrah, maybe. But this is the predicted bottom for the month of July. Right? That monthly target says no more selling. Well, you could do it one more time. What it's saying is if you were conservative, you'd be done. But what if you're not conservative? Well, we're at 26. Potential here left. I guess I got to go to a 5-minute chart. Sorry. The potential is, I can't even read that, 25.50. Huh? I can't read it. I still can't read it. Yeah, 25.50. So there's still potentially 70 pips left. But, you know, if you're a baller, you're like 50 pips isn't worth the risk. If you're a scalper, you're like, yeah, all right, I got some ops here. I could take it down to 80, bounce it back up to 0.0, dump it back down to 50, and probably squeeze out 70 to 100 pips as a scalper. Sure. Especially on Wednesday. Why not? See, I could argue oil inventories will be down, not up. Oil spikes up to 48. CAD drops into here, and then we'd be done. Hey, by the way, I got my first grade for one of my 2 classes from summer school. I got an A, Bubba. Solid A. That's high 90s. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Nice. My second class, the grades are still coming in, the individual grades. I got an 89 so far. That's not good. I got, I think 3 more papers need to be graded. I'm like B+. That's not acceptable. It's a tough class. On the first paper that we turned in, bear in mind it's summer school. We have so much work you can't possibly do it all. On our first paper, we get it handed back like in week 2 or something, and more than half the class had to redo it. We're like, what? We can't even do all the work you've already given us. What do you mean redo it? Not good enough. Someone's like, but we don't have enough time. We'd have to be up all night writing all this stuff. She's like, it's Harvard. It's tough. You need to do an all-nighter? That's not my problem. You got to get it done. You got to get it done right. Like, wow. How do you argue with that? I don't know. A B+, no. I'm okay with an A-, but a B+ is like the worst grade you could get. Because you know, half the time the grading is subjective. So you're like, really? She could have just gone like, boop, A-. But it makes a big difference. I mean, even though it's like a boop, the difference between an A- and B+ statistically is high. So I'm like, really? Like, how did I be, you know, it might come down to like 2 points on a paper. I'm like, really? Like, how'd you come up with, you know, a 45 versus a 47, for example? Yeah, it's like not hitting a profit target by 4 pips. You're like, oh my God, really? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right, Joe? And I'm capable of doing it too. I can, my papers sometimes are beautifully written pieces of crap. Like, this paper is stupid. The concepts are retarded. It lacks logic and cohesion. But it's beautifully written. So I got to give you a B+. If it only had logic and cohesion, you might have earned an A-. Yeah. I'm like, hey, honey, I had to bust this out basically the night before it was due. I'm sorry. All right. Beast. Look. Monday, we sold, but also set up the double top. Ryan said he wanted to wait for the double top. Ryan got the double top. Then yesterday, we talked about, hey, your second chance is going to be a roll reversal. So we drew this orange line. Seems like it might be important. Now, did it make a lower low? No. And this goes back to the time of year stuff, the seasonality stuff. Any other time of the year, you would expect a lower low by now. We should have reset off the 200, probably tickled the M2. But we didn't. Which might reinforce the idea that there are different qualities of trade setups. Ryan's double top is an excellent entry. And even though this is valid, it's less good. Good, gooder. Okay, okay versus great. And I would say typically as a bear, you would have expected this by now. So there's two things. Either the bears are not confident or they're not in the office. Right? So just keep that in mind. I mean, you're going to grow old and wise as a trader, and you'll know these things. You'll be, I mean, do you remember in May, I was saying this is the time, as we got closer and closer to June, I said this is the time when you start preparing to change your expectations mentally. That we don't know when it's going to happen, but it's most likely going to start to happen soon. Probably July and August. July 4th, Americans take time off, right? And then you hit August, Europeans take time off. So somewhere in this June period, there'll be some winding down of positions, and then just sort of lack of follow-through. You'll get decent setups, but no follow-through. And the inexperienced trader without these expectations thinks it's their trading strategy, so they stop trading with their strategy and they try new things. They say, the analysis isn't working anymore, my oscillators are not working anymore, my MACD isn't consistent anymore, the price action's not consistent anymore. The pivots seem weird, so I'm going to start switching it up. And instead of stochastics, I'm going to try ADX. And then instead of weekly pivots, I'm going to use yearly pivots. And you start mixing crap up, and you've lost all your consistency. So therefore, you'll never regain confidence. And once you've lost confidence, you got 2 feet in the grave, my friend. Yeah. So I hope you guys are doing the summer school. I mean, that's why it's out there. Is there a way to determine what kind of environment we are headed to? Besides experience, Peter, no. Oh, hey, Ryan, speaking about VIX, the CME group, I think it's the CME group, just released a big white paper on trading VIX. You might want to Google it. I don't have the link in front of me. Oh, great, Hadir. What about your? I just know it's going to happen before it happens, Peter, because it happens every year. Chicago Board Options Exchange. CBOE? Yeah, I guess that'd be it, right? Or CME? Oh, you got it? Yeah. Have you read it already, or did you just Google it? All right. Well, there you go. Chickadee check, microphone check one. Apparently, lots of hedge funds are starting to trade it. I taught the VIX. I did a presentation at the New York, let me see if I can get this right. New York Traders Expo 2007, maybe 2008. And the presentation was how to trade Forex using VIX, VIX, the yield curve, and the TED spread. What? 2007. So that's 10 years ago now, thinking about it, and it seems that long ago. The fire marshal, by the way, had to come in and kick people out of the room and close the doors because there was 100 people outside the room, and the room was packed. But imagine that in 2007 or 2008. It was right in there somewhere. Isn't that interesting? And now the market's trading VIX. Cool. That's a lot of water under the bridge. Well, it was one of these. It was one of these presentations where people had just lost like 50% of their net worth. And in less than an hour, I explained to them how easy it was to predict, to prepare, and not only avoid all that pain, but should have made money. And it was like they paid attention, like people were like leaning forward kind of stuff, but it was dead quiet. And these are New Yorkers, right? I do presentations there all the time, right? And this was like funeral. And I'm like, yeah, look at this look at this yield curve. And so I do about 10 minutes of training on yield curve analysis. And I'm like, this is what it's supposed to be. This is what it means. This is how it gets moved. And then all of a sudden, this is what it looked like right before you lost all your money. Like, isn't it obvious? And I explained it in less than 10 minutes. And everyone's like, oh my God, a child would understand this. I'm like, yeah, but your wealth manager didn't. They still tell you it was unpredictable. And they're like, I paid this a-hole 2% of my net worth. Oh, thank you, Shug. So anyway, so it was dead silent. I'm like, look at this TED spread. Look at this yield curve. Look at the VIX. And so it was horrible. It was a funeral. We laughed. It was just like a whole room. Like I'm very thankful that they had locked all of the sliding doors out to the balconies because could have been a lot of people laying out on the concrete in Times Square. This was at the Marriott Marquis. Can you imagine? Here I am live in Times Square. For some reason, hundreds of people have thrown themselves off the roof of the Marriott Marquis. Apparently, someone has just told them how easy it was to predict that they were going to lose 50% of their net worth. In fact, they could have doubled their net worth instead of going broke. Oh, look out. Yeah, so. All right. So, I mean, it was terrible. It was terrible. Let's do one more yen yen. Let's do some yen yen. Yeah, no, I'm still in that short from yesterday, Ryan. So I really have nothing to add. The same resistance from yesterday is there. All right. Do you guys remember doing this? For some reason I can't grab it, right? We were doing this, I guess it was yesterday, right? At some point I don't know why I can't grab it. Well, there we go. So you got to pick your lines. So there's two reasons I do this. Once again, if you haven't taken summer school, then you probably don't know how to trade price action. I look at this and it's obvious, so I never know if you know, or if it's obvious after I do it, then maybe it's something that you should be doing, right? But you know, this first and foremost tells me I can't buy. And second of all, it sets up a place to sell. You know what I'm talking about? And we're still in that mode where at the very least you can't buy. Okay? But maybe when you get down to this cluster, things will change. And that's where you would kind of look for that evidence. Which reminds me, so here's USD yen. CAD is coming up to the reversal area. And I'll end on this note. There's our peso. You guys remember doing that giant X? This is the first Friday of the month, aka payday. And here we are on the, what is it, the 19th? No, is it? Yeah, the 19th of July. We've had this X drawn here. And maybe, just maybe, I don't know yet, but maybe, just maybe, that's the bottom. Interesting bounce though, huh? Yeah, those are hourly candles, guys. So we dropped through in an hourly period, and then did nothing for 4 hours, and then went up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours into the old roll reversal. Okay, I'd actually like to drop this down a little bit, if I may. Okay. So what happens next is important. If it bounces here again and heads up, and I think it's reasonable if we do something like this, then you can trade long. Oh my gosh, that sounds like a trade plan. And you would look for it here. If it doesn't happen here, it's irrelevant. Yeah, sorry, Ambassador. We all agreed. As soon as you walk in, we got to shut down the webinar. Yeah. No, I got a big meeting this morning. I got to kiss some hands and shake some babies. Come here, little baby. There you go, madam. Yeah. So, hey, thank you for being on my team. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. And, oh yeah, well, I don't need luck because I'm the one in charge. So, luck is for the powerless, right? No, yeah, sorry, FX. It's just I got to go early today. It's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's me. But thank you for being a client to TradersWay, guys. If not, open up a trading account today, huh? At least pop open a demo out of respect and loyalty for what we do together every day, huh? So I'll see you tomorrow. And tomorrow's Thursday, right? So, and then Friday, I'll see you Friday. I'll see you tomorrow and Friday. Like, yeah. Yeah, I got an election. Yeah. So take care, everybody. Cheers. Thanks for being on my team.